If you were not looking closely at Tristan's hands during that final scene in the hospital corridor, you completely missed the real story unfolding right in front of us. While everyone else was distracted by the sheer shock of Jason returning to town, Tristan was standing just a few feet away, his posture rigid, his eyes tracking every single micro expression that crossed Jason's face. It was not the look of a casual new surgeon observing a local legend. It was the calculated, assessing gaze of a handler. The way his fingers subtly tapped against his medical chart, a classic grounding technique used by operatives in the field, gave him away instantly. The writers are trying to distract us with his stethoscope and his tense encounters with Britt, but the truth is hiding in plain sight. Tristan is not just here to scrub into surgery. He is on a covert mission, and Jason is his primary target. Thinking back to the golden era of soap operas, we have seen this exact type of infiltration before. Do you remember when the international intelligence agencies first started planting agents in our beloved hospital back in the 80s and 90s? We had legacy characters who were deeply intertwined with global espionage, using the everyday chaos of the medical wards as a perfect, impenetrable cover. Long-term storytelling used to weave these dual identities so masterfully, creating layers of suspense that kept us glued to our screens for years. I think about Anna and her early days, or the way the hospital board was constantly manipulated by outside forces with hidden agendas. The hospital has always been a beacon of healing, but it has equally been a dangerous chessboard for spies and assassins. Seeing Tristan walk those same sterile, brightly lit halls brings a rush of profound nostalgia. It reminds me of a time when every new doctor had a dark secret, and every medical chart could double as a classified dossier. We are witnessing a return to that classic trope, and if you ask me, it is about time they brought that level of intrigue back to the canvas. Let us look closely at the undeniable facts surrounding Jason and his miraculous return to our screens. We know Jason was held captive by the intelligence agency for an agonizing, undisclosed amount of time. He has returned to us fundamentally changed, quietly traumatized, and carrying massive secrets that he is desperately trying to shield from Danny and Carly. But how exactly did he get back? It is absolutely no coincidence that Tristan debuted right as Jason was finally released from custody. I firmly believe that Tristan is an undercover agent stationed in our town with a very specific, highly classified directive. His title as a brilliant surgeon is merely a convenient, expertly crafted cover story. It gives him unlimited access to restricted areas, secure medical files, and most importantly, vulnerable patients. Tristan did not just happen to move into town looking for a job. He escorted Jason back. He is Jason's shadow, assigned to constantly monitor the highly valuable asset that the agency finally had to release back into the wild. Why would a powerful global agency need a medical doctor to monitor a released captive? This brings us to a chilling, heartbreaking realization about what Jason might have endured during his long absence. The agency is certainly not known for its gentle hospitality or ethical treatment of prisoners. I strongly suspect that Jason was subjected to far more than just psychological torment or standard interrogation techniques. What if they conducted experimental medical procedures on him in those dark, hidden cells? What if he was given experimental, mind-altering drugs or subjected to neurological conditioning that left him with severe, hidden medical complications? Jason is a character whose physical resilience and stoicism are legendary, but even he has his human limits. The agency would never just let him walk free without a strict contingency plan in place. They need a highly trained operative with elite medical expertise to watch for any delayed side effects, physical breakdowns, or sudden memory recoveries. Tristan is there to ensure that whatever they did to Jason remains a buried secret, and to intervene medically if Jason's body begins to fail. Maintaining character integrity is absolutely crucial when introducing a new player into a storytelling canvas as rich and historical as ours. Right now, Tristan is projecting the image of a dedicated, somewhat arrogant surgeon who is not afraid to clash with established, fiery doctors like Britt. But beneath that crisp scrub suit beats the cold, calculating heart of a spy. We have seen characters try to balance the Hippocratic Oath with the ruthless, bloody demands of espionage before. Think of the intense internal conflicts that tore at our favorite heroes in decades past. Tristan is walking a very thin, dangerous line. He must pretend to care about the mundane medical issues of the local residents while secretly keeping a hawk-like watch over Jason. Every single time Jason visits the hospital, every time he shows a fleeting moment of weakness or pain, Tristan is there, taking mental notes and reporting back to his shadowy superiors. It is a brilliant narrative choice, echoing the deep, complex character studies that made us fall in love with this television genre in the first place. But the sheer brilliance of this storyline does not stop at international espionage and covert medical monitoring. There is another layer, a deeply personal and emotional one, that could shatter the very foundation of several prominent families in town. I have been watching the subtle interactions, the lingering glances, and the specific way the writers are positioning Tristan in the orbit of certain women. I have a strong, undeniable feeling that Tristan is connected to Nina by blood. Yes, my friends, I truly believe Tristan could be the long-lost half-brother of Willow. Imagine the sheer magnitude and emotional fallout of that revelation. Nina, a woman who has spent her entire life desperately seeking family, grasping at every single chance to be a mother, might have a grown son she knows absolutely nothing about. And Willow, who has struggled so profoundly with her own identity and her incredibly complicated feelings toward Nina, would suddenly have a brother to contend with. If Tristan is indeed connected to this family by blood, the entire dynamic of the show shifts instantly. Nina has always been a beautifully tragic figure, a woman whose maternal instincts are fierce, overwhelming, but often terribly misguided. To discover that she has a son, a fully grown man who is both a brilliant, respected surgeon and a deadly, highly trained operative, would give her a completely new purpose in life. It would validate all those years of empty longing and profound grief. Nina would undoubtedly try to smother him with the love and affection she was never allowed to give him as a child. But how would a hardened undercover agent react to a mother's overwhelming emotional demands? Tristan has likely spent his entire life building walls, relying only on himself and his training. The emotional collision between Nina's desperate need for connection and Tristan's ingrained need for professional detachment would be absolute television gold. But it is Willow who would be most profoundly and immediately affected by this shocking revelation. Right now, Willow is currently drowning in a terrifying sea of legal nightmares. She is being falsely accused of a horrific hit-and-run accident, entirely thanks to the malicious framing plot orchestrated by Brooke Lynn. Willow is terrified, isolated, and facing the very real, horrifying possibility of losing her freedom, her career, and everything she holds dear. She desperately needs a protector. She needs someone who has the immense power, the vast resources, and the ruthless cunning to make her monumental problems disappear. Enter Tristan. As an operative, he possesses skills that go far beyond standard medical practice. He knows how to manipulate systems, erase digital footprints, and handle dangerous adversaries. Here is exactly where the story reaches its absolute peak of dramatic tension. If Tristan is an undercover agent, his primary, non-negotiable directive is to maintain his cover, monitor Jason, and execute the agency's orders without fail. But if he discovers that Willow is his biological sister, that undeniable blood connection will inevitably challenge his strict professional loyalty. We know exactly how powerful family bonds are in this town. They are the driving force behind every great super couple, every violent mob war, and every heroic, tear-jerking sacrifice. Tristan has been trained by the best to be objective, cold, and calculating. But when he sees his own flesh and blood being framed, being ruthlessly hunted by the local police, and facing unjust imprisonment, will he simply stand by and do nothing? I highly, highly doubt it. With his extensive medical knowledge and his covert agency resources, Tristan is uniquely positioned to save Willow from this nightmare. He could easily infiltrate the police database to erase the fake evidence, alter crucial medical records, or manufacture forensic data that completely exonerates her. He could track down the real culprit, Brooke Lynn, and expose her framing plot with a level of terrifying precision that the local detectives could never dream of achieving. But doing so would require him to step out of the shadows and risk everything. It would force him to use his highly classified skills for personal unauthorized gain, risking his carefully constructed cover and potentially drawing the severe wrath of the agency down upon his newly discovered family. He could easily manipulate the evidence to make the hit-and-run charges vanish into thin air, protecting Willow from the devastating legal consequences she is currently facing. This intense internal war between professional duty and family blood is the absolute hallmark of incredible soap opera writing. Tristan will have to look in the mirror and ask himself, who is he, really? Is he a loyal, unquestioning soldier to a faceless government agency, or is he a brother, a son, a man who fiercely protects his own family at all costs? If you ask me, this is exactly the kind of deep character development that turns a newcomer into a beloved legacy character. We will watch him struggle, sitting alone in his empty apartment, staring intently at Willow's case files, knowing that with just a few keystrokes or a well-placed, encrypted phone call, he could set her completely free. But he also knows that the very moment he intervenes, he paints a massive target on her back. The agency does not tolerate rogue operatives or divided loyalties. By saving his sister, he might inadvertently drag her, Nina, and even his primary target, Jason, into a much more dangerous, deadly crossfire. The sheer beauty of this dual identity theory is how it perfectly and seamlessly ties together completely disparate corners of the storytelling canvas. You have Jason, the stoic, traumatized former enforcer trying desperately to leave his violent past behind, completely unaware that his trusted doctor is actually his silent jailer. You have Britt, whose fiery, entertaining clashes with Tristan might soon evolve from simple professional rivalry into a highly dangerous game of cat and mouse as her sharp mind begins to uncover his dark secret. Then you have Willow and Nina, caught in their own tragic domestic and legal battles, completely oblivious to the fact that their ultimate salvation and their greatest potential danger lies in the capable hands of the new surgeon. Tristan is the ultimate lynchpin in this narrative. His choices, his loyalties, and his secrets will dictate the fate of all these beloved characters. This intricate, deeply emotional web of secrets is exactly why we have remained so fiercely loyal to this show for decades. We live for these sweeping, interconnected narratives where a single, hidden truth can detonate and completely reshape the entire town. A character like Tristan, burdened with dark secrets, torn between two vastly different worlds, is exactly what we need to breathe fresh, exciting life into the hospital corridors. It elevates the stakes from mere interpersonal drama to life-and-death espionage, all while keeping the emotional core firmly rooted in complex family dynamics. As we watch this storyline unfold in the coming weeks, I urge you to look beyond the surface. Watch Tristan's eyes when he speaks to Jason. Pay attention to his lingering glances toward Willow and Nina. The truth is simmering just beneath the surface, waiting for the perfect moment to boil over. No matter how many times the writers twist the plot or break our hearts, it is this profound depth, this incredible potential for human drama, that keeps my passion for this show burning as brightly today as it did 30 years ago. We are in for a spectacular ride, my friends, and I would not want to experience it with anyone else.